What is going on, everybody? We are back with another NBA draft video, this time talking about some of my more under the radar prospects, hidden gems, sleepers, whatever you want to call them, in this loaded draft. I don't think it's as deep as previous years due to the NIL and a lot of guys going back, but they are still much higher on my board than probably consensus, and I believe that they could return some excellent value. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into it, starting with my guy, number 7 on my current board, Bennett Sturts from Iowa, who was previously at Northwest Missouri State, and then Drake. He has an excellent journey. He plays with complete poise. There's a sense of calmness around him when he's playing. He's clearly has the seamless off-ball skill, ability, projection in the NBA. He is one that I would love to see alongside a guy like Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, one of these more higher usage creators that just need some pressure taken off them, but I also think there could be a little bit of a star profile with Sturts. His analytical profile is actually fairly similar to Dame coming out of school, as well as Jalen Brunson. In terms of the shot profile, it's extremely complete as a three-point shooter off the dribble, but also as a catch-and-shoot three-pointer or a catch-and-shoot shooter. Um, his two-point scoring is awesome in the mid-range. It's not super high volume, but when he does get there, he's extremely efficient, and then he's outstanding at the rim. 70% at the rim as a mainly below the rim average-ish level athlete. So that's extremely impressive for a guy that's not expected to do that. But one of the main things with him, his calling card, is his feel, his processing, kind of the way that he just plays the game and makes a ton of simple decisions super quickly. So he's an elite processor and decision maker with a ball in his hands for extended stretches. He consistently opts for the quick, simple read, especially when he's sprinting off of handoffs from Fulgaris at Iowa or whoever it was. A lot of the stuff that Iowa did, of course, with Coach McCollum, they have always been slow, deliberate, and playing around this guy. So Sturts, he has that experience doing that, but in a recent interview, he has also mentioned that he thinks he is better off of the ball, which I think I agree with. I think at to an extent he's Ty Jerome. I think he's got a little bit more juice than him. However, Jerome has been a truly impactful six man that can come in and start, take on a heavier workload, and has a pretty complete shot profile at all three levels. So Sturts off the ball is an excellent cutter, great off the catch in these catch and shoot situations, and I think he has a lot more juice in transition than we think, just because you know they love their half court sets, or Coach McCollum loves his half court sets. They just played a lot slower, so I'm really intrigued to see where he lands. Um, I would take him with a top 10 pick at, honestly, Dallas at 9. However, the age, probably the lesser athleticism, like it's going to come into play. So, but I am super excited to see where he lands. Pistons, T Wolves, Raptors was one that I would really love because they need more pull up 3-point shooting around Barnes and just another guy that can kind of take some pressure off of him offensively. But Sturts is excellent, and he is definitely one of my guys. This leads me to another point guard, Mr. Ibuka Okore from Stanford, currently number 10 on my board, and he is outstanding. He is a paint touch creator, pretty much just relentlessly. He can get there whenever he wants, who protects the ball at an elite level relative to his usage. I believe I don't know if there's a specific number for it, but he has at least a 30% usage, and his turnover numbers are extremely low. As you can see on that second point there, 6.9% creation turnover, or 6.9 creation turnover percentage. So when he's looking to create, he is only turning it over just under 7%. That is, I believe, 99th percentile relative to his usage and position. So that's outstanding. But the calling card with him, what you want is the rim pressure. He is a monster in this category, and since I want to say, going back to Ja Morant, he has the highest rim attempts per 100, which is 13.1 rim attempts per 100 possessions, which ranks in the 99th percentile, which is paired with a 76th percentile free throw rate, which is always kind of a star indicator of what you want to see. If you're getting downhill, you want to see them drawing fouls and at least getting to the rim at a high level. But Okore, he has a knack for getting to the line, but he also takes a lot of pull-up threes. and that's what you want to see. He's a good free throw shooter, but he has also a high volume, self created 3-point shooter, which is kind of um, like gives like the Maxi comps at least some backup to it. So I can honestly see it. I think Maxi's deployed a little bit more off the ball, but with the ball in his hands, I think Okore is just so quick. His ability to use both hands is awesome. Contact balance and kind of the way that he just contorts in the air is really special for what he's able to do at his size. Speaking of his size, he's 6'1" with a 6'8" wingspan. That's pretty crazy. But the best part about it, he's not like a complete liability defensively. It's going to pop up sometimes just because he is smaller, and a lot of these bigger guys can probably front him early in transition and early in the sets. But he's at least like not a full negative on this end, considering he got a lot of steals and had a decent amount of blocks for somebody his size. It'll be tough because he's smaller. However, Okore, he has that star guard profile of free throw rate, being able to get to the rim. He does not turn it over at all, and he's able to just put the ball in the hoop at a pretty good level. So I'm excited to see where he lands. He's another one that's like his assist numbers are kind of iffy, but there's also a lack of context there when I guess evaluating him because his team was one of the least athletic teams like in the country in terms of like because when he's able to get downhill, he's probably not able to just throw it up and have a play finisher in the dunker spot consistently. That will change in the NBA, of course. So I think he did stay in the draft, so I'm excited to see where he lands. He's another one that can probably take pressure off a guy like Cade, Anthony Edwards. Probably go to Toronto and make an immediate impact. But Okore is a really fun one, and I think he should be a lot higher on a lot of people's boards. Next up, we have Twitter's draft darling in Alan Graves. Graves is an awesome player. He is like one of the more like obvious impact starters, at least in my opinion, in this class. And of course, he's number 8 on my board. As I forgot to mention that, but he creates events on the defensive end at such a high rate, even despite his like lack of athleticism. Like he's a decent athlete. It's just not anything crazy. Like it's just not his type of game. But I don't want to say a full comp because he's fairly unique. Somebody compared him to Colin Murray Boyles, but Murray Boyles is definitely a better athlete and rim protector. But I can kind of see it. But also like a Draymond type variant archetype can probably operate as a hub, can knock down a three, doesn't turn it over, and is excellent on the defensive end. So his impact metrics, they paint the picture of a player who elevates team efficiency on both ends. He definitely projects as like a potential high level playoff starter over time. And I'm really excited to see where he lands. But stocks, and more stocks. A 100th percentile steal rate and 87th percentile block rate for a combo forward that's outstanding. That is game breaking production. Like I mentioned, especially given his underwhelming athletic testing at the combine, but he more than makes up for it with anticipation, great hands, timing, possession generator. So he is the marginal king. This is where he impacts the game the most. A 100 percentile steal rate, like I mentioned, that is one clear avenue to extra possessions. But Graves, he also impacts winning in multiple ways on the margins. He's also a 99th percentile offensive rebounder and a 99th percentile ball security player. So he does not turn it over. He also generates extra possessions on the glass, but also creates turnovers on the defensive end. That is awesome. That's exactly what you want out of extremely high level role players. And Maestro on the margins, consistently tilting possession battles without needing a high usage, which kind of talk about here next with his offensive connectivity plus playmaking hub. He projects as a valuable complementary piece, provides real utility as a popper, like I mentioned, and short roll decision maker. That's another one where he's working from an advantageous position, especially if he has a lead creator on his team. He's working in the short roll, making the extra pass. Either it's a dump down to a lob or a kick out of the corner. This is what he does. But as a spot up threat, he hit 40.7% from three with 97% of his attempts assisted. So he's not going to self create. He is a spot up guy, but that underscores his strong off ball efficiency. This is what he does on the offensive end, but his calling card is defense and the margins. Like, this is a potentially special type of role player in the NBA whose production was outstanding, even as a six man at Santa Clara. So I'm excited to see where Graves lands. I would 100% take him top 10, at least in the lottery, but he was probably going to the 20s if I had to guess, but Graves is awesome. I would definitely go watch this guy. Next up, we got my guy from Texas, Dalen Swain, who was formerly with Xavier. I'm a big fan of Swain, a downhill-oriented wing with very good physical traits, who impacts the game as a passer and defensive disruptor. And he's really intriguing because a lot of like his profile and statistical stuff is somewhat similar to Franz and Tatum coming out of college in terms of just a wing creator who can take on a heavier workload, but when they are scaled down and kind of playing as a more of a role player, they can be elite in terms of the defensive disruption, like I mentioned, the stock creation, all that good stuff, but also a really good passer and rebounder. Like, that's Swain, I believe it was like a 20.9% rebound or defensive rebound rate, which is excellent. Potentially a guy that can impact the margins on this end, especially in like a scaled down role, because when he did scale up, it was really good. However, the turnover numbers were kind of crazy. Like, a lot of them were when he was looking to create, but kind of this to stick with a positive because I'm a huge fan. There's a potential like star wing creator in there with him, in my opinion. But high volume, self created rim attacker with 82% of his rim attempts being unassisted, which is a strong indicator for self creation. And he finished about 64% of them. So he has an extremely fluid handle and moves exceptionally well for, I guess, his size and length, but really good handle, athletic tools, which opens up playmaking lanes for him because he was a good playmaker this past year for Texas. He was kind of in a tougher offensive context with guys that couldn't really shoot it consistently, but he was tasked with a heavy workload and Texas ended up having one of the better offenses in the country. I believe it finished top 15 to top 20. So Swain is able to do this. I believe he'll be 21 come opening night for the NBA, but he's awesome. Like, this is potentially like a star wing creator in my opinion. But defensive versatility, like, this is where he'll probably be his best early on in my opinion. He has real flashes kind of as a rim protector with his athleticism. The numbers don't fully back it up there, but the athleticism kind of takes over and you kind of see like more of these emphatic blocks on chase downs, stuff like that. But 2.8 steal percent or 2.8% steal rate. Like, he creates plays on this end. He's when he was tasked with more of the on-ball stuff, I guess the off-ball kind of like engagement was a little bit off, which is, I feel like that's fairly normal, but definitely needs to turn that around for sure. But turnovers and then the 3-point rate, those are the main things that still need refinement. But Swain, he has the framework of this potential wing initiator, the driving ability, interior passing feel, and the fluidity give him real creation upside as a wing. Super impressive athlete and handler with clear flashes of taking control of an offense and generating consistent production. And then, of course, the defensive playmaking as well. So that's where I kind of see like the Franz and Tatum stuff. Tatum's obviously awesome, but when you look at Wagner, like, he's one that can scale back and be an elite role player, but also scale up and take over an offense and run it better than their best player. So Swain could have this type of pathway in his career. I wonder if it does happen. He's a really special player, in my opinion, who's definitely worth a lottery choice, at least in my opinion, but probably will end up past the 20s. So some potential awesome value there for Swain. Richie Saunders, currently 33 on my board, will potentially rise. He'll be 25 years old on opening night, but he is Maury pilled. So he takes a lot of threes and he gets a lot of shots at the rim. That is the two most high percentage shots, and which explains his Maury rate being so high. So Saunders has shown real value as a team defender and honestly creates a lot more turnovers than you would think for kind of a lesser athlete. I believe he measured in just under 6'4" as well. So He's kind of a smaller wing or guard, but offensively, the projection is pretty straightforward. Knockdown shooter, 89% of his attempts coming off of assists, so that immediately points to him coming off screens, spotting up in the corner, and kind of those transition threes off of his the ball handler, the main creator. So there's obviously always value with that. You're not going to ask him to be creating a lot, but I think he can be reliable in this sense. Rim efficiency, he's got some craft around the rim and some somewhat sneaky bounce. There's some times where he kind of just takes off and throws one down before they're even able to get a hand close to it. So, but he's one that's a lot of his stuff is like coming off handoffs and already able to get downhill because he's coming off a run and start, or he's cutting off the ball, but he's got soft touch around the rim, converted 69% at the rim, 7.2 attempts per 100 possessions last season, reflecting steady efficiency as a complementary scorer. So you're not going to ask him to do a lot of creating, but a guy that can attack a closeout, knock down a three, and potentially pull up from mid range. But steal collector, you're not going to ask him to be a point of attack defender, I don't think, but like the effort there, the intensity, the engagement, that is all there as a team defender. But 87th percentile steal rate is really good. So that immediately indicates that there is some defensive upside, at least creating. But of course, he's 25, so how much upside does he really have? But he's one that probably in the second round I would definitely take a swing on him, and I think he could very well become a role player that finds a rotation on a playoff team. So Saunders is awesome. To kind of wrap it up, I guess a few more honorable mentions, just a couple other guys that I at least want to highlight. I don't think they're going to turn into superstars, but I do think that these guys could outplay their draft position and earn a couple contracts. So Terrace Reed from UConn, physically imposing 6'8", hub style big with legit passing skills, and he's competitive on the glass. We saw him in the tournament. He was awesome. He was a dominant force on the inside. His touch is okay when it's self-created. I think he'll definitely be better as a roll man, but the passing is really good. If I remember his numbers correctly, I believe he was 85th percentile in assist rate, which isn't everything, but he was kind of deployed as that hub that can make passes, but also kind of create on his own in the short roll and self-created post-ups as well. So Reed's an interesting one. Trayvon Brazile from Arkansas, athletic play finisher that has shown he can step out, knock down a three, super high intensity on the glass, and showcases like some really impressive weak side shot blocking with his athleticism. He's coming off an injury from last year, I want to say, but I think he's definitely worth a second round choice. And Braden Smith is kind of a homage selection here, but like table setting floor general, he's smaller, I know, with a knack of kind of getting to his mid range, doesn't turn it over, but needs to increase the 3-point volume to stick in the league, which is obvious. He's going to be a negative on defense, probably the worst one in the league. That's a little bit harsh, but Smith, like he's always been a fun one to watch for me. Like he'll be a really good G League player at the very least, at least in my opinion. But yeah, this is pretty much it for at least my gems. There's a few other guys that I probably could have mentioned. However, if there's any more that I'm missing, drop them in the comments. I would really appreciate a like, subscribe, and of course a comment or a share at some point. But once again, hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'm attempting to get more draft content out before the draft, of course, but appreciate you guys watching again, and God bless.